Hello, it's me again. I know that my uploading can be pretty erratic, and I end up taking down a lot of the videos that I upload. But I just wanted to talk about something today, and I don't really have anybody else to talk to about it because I don't know anybody else who struggles with the same thing as me. But if anybody's watching this who also has psychosis, like, do you find times where you pretty much make any excuse you can to be alone because it's just too overwhelming to constantly have to figure out the difference between reality and your psychosis? So for me, I mostly hear voices, but sometimes I have visual hallucinations too. And they seem to me just as real as anything else that I'm seeing. So I'm constantly having to work really hard to kind of not react publicly. So if I'm around other people and I see something or hear something, I'm always having to kind of tune that out and focus on the things I know are real, like what my friends are saying or whatever situation that I'm in. And it just gets really, really exhausting. So lately for me, I've been going for a lot of walks, and I'll wear my headphones so that I can kind of drown out other things, and play my music so I can kind of try to drown out the hallucinations as well. But it's a weird feeling because we were isolated for so long with the whole quarantine and lockdown thing. I'm still being very careful about who I go see. And I want to spend time with people, but at the same time, it's so exhausting having to be around people and try to be normal. Because a lot of people that I spend time with don't know that I have psychosis. So I'm always having to kind of pretend to be like them, like I'm not hearing a bunch of other stuff that they're not. And it's just really hard. So lately I've been spending a lot more time alone, and when I am around people, I tend to get really irritable, not at them, but because there's all this overwhelming kind of sensory input coming in, and they don't know that any of that is happening, and I'm having to try to block it out and pretend like everything is fine, even if internally I'm freaking out. And then there are days when I can't really tell the difference. The line between, what I know is real and what I can kind of think my way to being not real, it kind of blurs to the point where sometimes I'll respond to a hallucination not knowing that it is a hallucination, and then people will look at me funny, and I have to, come up with some excuse oh, I was just thinking out loud, or just, had a flashback or whatever. Sometimes I'll, pretend like I'm talking on the phone. But, I don't know, it's just really weird because, I want to tell my friends, but then I'm also afraid that if I tell them, then they're gonna kind of think I'm, crazy or psychotic in a bad way, in the movies where the person with psychosis or schizophrenia is this horrible killer or whatever, and that's just not how it is. Either that or they get mocked and they're the tinfoil hat wearing stereotype and stuff like that. So I haven't really told a lot of people in my life about it because I don't know how they'll respond, and it's just easier to not tell them than to have that conversation several times with several people. But it's just so exhausting. It really is. People don't understand how much work I put into appearing normal. Because I'm basically just mimicking other people all the time. I'll look at their mouth to make sure that they're actually talking, and then I'll respond to them, and it's really exhausting having to consciously kind of force myself to zero in on reality, because all this other stuff that I'm experiencing also seems real, and it's really hard to tell the difference, especially if I'm in a room full of a bunch of people and I hear like my name, then I'll turn around thinking that like somebody's trying to talk to me, and nobody was trying to talk to me, and it's just really awkward, and it's just, I don't know. Of course, I haven't really been around a bunch of people lately, so that hasn't been as much of an issue. But still, like, whenever I go see, like, my boyfriend, or I go out to the store or whatever, I'm always having to try so hard to kind of pretend like I'm not experiencing a bunch of stuff at the same time as I'm trying to talk to this person or do this thing. And I'm just, I don't know, some days I just don't want to do it. I just want to stay in my room alone, and I don't want to talk to people. I don't want to have to keep pretending and keep working so hard to kind of separate the two, you know. I don't know. I just wanted to talk about that because, like I said, it's really hard for me, but I don't really have anybody to talk to about it, you know, because I can't really see my therapist in person, and I don't really like to talk about that kind of stuff over the phone. So, I don't know, sometimes I just end up dissociating. If it's not just all completely overwhelming, I'll dissociate. So that's been an issue too. But I don't know, I just needed to get that off of my chest a little bit, because it is really, really exhausting to have psychosis, and people just don't understand that if I get irritable or if I kind of say something out loud, like, it's not at them. I'm experiencing stuff that they can't experience, that they don't hear or see or whatever. And I'm trying really hard to not do that, you know, to try to, you know, I don't like snapping at people. I don't like being rude, you know. So when it gets overwhelming, I try to go off by myself, but then people don't want me to be by myself for too long. So it's a challenge. But anyway, I just thought that I would talk about that, get it off my chest a little bit. Thank you for watching. Hope you're staying safe. Bye.